After we had to bury Jake in the ground, the fight began for answers, for truth. And we're coming up for 12 years and we're none the wiser.
Since 2004, the Ombudsman for Children's Office has heard from families whose children died unexpectedly, such as by suicide, homicide, or an accident. They told us how they struggled to get answers from services about what happened to their child, and most importantly, could it have been prevented? These parents are left with unimaginable grief and no clear answers. There's no guaranteed right to information, no consistent review process. That's why the Ombudsman for Children's Office is calling for Ireland to set up a statutory child death review system, one that's independent, transparent, and puts families at its heart.
Aoife was my only daughter. She was lovely. She was 14 and funny. She had a great sense of humour. She had everything going for her. She was gorgeous, she should have had her life. Aoife joined a well-known organisation that we thought we could trust, that we thought cared for children and looked after children and kept them safe. There was a weekend to Waterford organised. On the way home, decided to drop off at Hookhead. There was no consent given by the parents. This weekend was Storm Desmond, so the conditions were pretty bad. The children were all walking around a substantial amount of time unsupervised. One of the witnesses had said that he saw the wave came in and knocked a boy and girl. And the girl was Aoife and the boy was Philip. Another wave came in and took Aoife into the water. The rescue got to Aoife and they worked on her and got a slight pulse, and then they took her to Waterford Hospital. I felt that if they didn't recognise that there were failings, then it could happen again. I had been looking for a report from the organisation. The coroner had asked for this report. I had to take a civil action. It was 8 years later and I still had not got that report. They admitted full liability the day before it was due to go into court. Full liability, and then when the report arrived, they denied liability, they denied failure and duty of care. I keep getting that they want to tell Mrs. Winterledge that they're sorry for the loss of her daughter, and that's not what I'm asking them for. I want them to admit that they failed in their duty of care and my child is dead because of their failure. I'm not happy with, I'm sorry for the loss of your daughter. That's not good enough.
January 2013. Jake was in CAMHS having counselling. Jake had mild Asperger's, which is now classed as autism. The appointment lasted minimum of 10, maximum of 20 minutes, and they came away with a prescription. He started getting diarrhoea. He woke up early and he had the first meltdown that we'd ever seen in his life. After we had to bury Jake in the ground, the fight began for answers, for truth. And we're coming up for 12 years and we're none the wiser. And then as the weeks unfold and you try to get your child's file and you're dealing with CAMHS, it's like an army comes and they link arms, and it's you and your husband against this table of people. Even trying to get the child's file, they wouldn't hand it over. You've got to sit there and listen to them refer to your child as the deceased. They never refer to him by name. It's just shocking how families are treated. And your child is dead. Get over it. Our Jake mattered. Our Jake had a place in this world. We didn't have a sick child. We didn't have a suicidal child. But we have a dead child, and nobody can tell us why.
Many families are left in a state of uncertainty, carrying their grief for years and burdened by the knowledge that other tragic deaths may have been prevented if services could only learn from their experiences. Today, the Ombudsman for Children's Office is calling for Ireland to set up an independent statutory child death review system as quickly as possible. A system that works, a system that learns, and, most importantly, a system that will help prevent future deaths of children in Ireland. It's time to fix what's broken.